Welcome back to Charity Farms. My name is Teresa, but you can call me T. Today we're actually going to do two things. We're going to walk through the garden. There's a lot of vegetation that I actually lost because for the past week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, we have been in the very high temperatures of about 110 to 116. So trying to ensure that the vegetables were well watered without making sure that the sun wasn't going to magnify them and burn them was somewhat of a challenge. So there are a few that I lost, quite a few really. And, excuse me, we're also going to make chicken cordon bleu. The reason why I'm including my cooking recipes in here is because when I go through gardens and I see a lot of loss, I have to remind myself, and I want this to, to help you in any way possible, excuse me, is to know that even the most experienced gardeners, which I'm not that experienced, but even the most experienced gardeners will have setbacks, will have failures. The key is to learn from them. We all start with a brown thumb. I know I did. So what we'll do is we'll learn from this. I have to understand that, one, I am in a different zone area. I'm in 9B, but just because I'm in 9B doesn't mean that someone else who's in this zone area will go through the same things I go through. They may not have the high temps of 116 or 111 degrees for days at a time. I mean, our lowest temp was about 93 this week, so it's been pretty hot. So what I've learned for where I'm at now here in Arizona is I need to ensure that I start my exterior garden probably about February timeframe, maybe late February, early March, just because it is so hot and I need to allow them that time to grow and to get everything that they need to, sorry my phone dinged, to get everything that they need to fill, to get the roots in there and to get the food and to thrive and produce. That's what they want to do. Thankfully, my ground cherries started relatively early, so I got a good harvest from them. But I still haven't received anything from my peppers. I haven't received anything from my tomatoes. I gave up on my cucumbers because they just were not making it through this heat. A lot of my beans died. I'm giving it a last shot. I don't know how many are going to make it this time. I only have 2 zucchini that are barely making it, but there is no fruit. So we'll see where this goes and where this leads. But in the meantime, you go with what you know you have. You look at the positives. I do have vegetation that is making it. I'm learning from what I've already done. The reason why it was such a late start this season for me was because I had to get the beds. Everything took time and money and finances, and some things you just can't control. You have to go with the flow. You have to hit it with the bang. So, okay. But one thing I do know how to do is cook. So I'm going to make some chicken cordon bleu because my husband and I like it. And maybe that will be something that you do if you run into something where you don't want to go into a very negative phase, but it seems like everything hitting you is negative. So what you do is you just try to look at something that you know that you can do. If you're a good cook, cook something. If you're a sewer, sew something, make something. If you like to paint or draw, do that. If you like to go into like video games and blow stuff up and that makes you feel better, do it. Don't let the negativity of what had happened consume you or drive you. Just understand that it's a learning curve. Everything learns. We're not born into this world and we know everything. In fact, we learn, and we learn a lot through failure. So, sorry, excuse me. Let's go ahead and get this video started. We're going to start on the east wall, and you do see the Florida tomatoes, the paste tomatoes right there on the far right. They are still struggling to make it, but at least they're thriving. The bucket on the left, I lost all of those, so all I got to do is just make sure that the soil stays well hydrated and nutrient rich so for the next season. The Jersey Devils, I have two, one in each bucket. The other two didn't make it, but they're trying to make it. They're trying to survive, so I'm going to give them as much help as I can. Next to that, you have the mushroom basket, and you can see that she's wilting because it was so hard and to keep that water in there, but she's thriving, she's trying. And then these are the Puron sprayless. These are the ones that are heat resistant, so I'm hoping that they'll be fine. The Portino paste tomato actually gave me a little bit of a surprise. We'll see if we can actually make it all the way through, but they gave me 3 buds. So if I do everything correctly, those will turn into flowers and those flowers will turn into fruit. Let's hope I can make it, but at the same token, I'm not going to kick myself in the nails if it doesn't, because I can't control the temperature. All I can do is try to control with what I have. The loofahs are doing really well, and I think it's just because they're shaded with those buckets there. My jumbo pink winter squash are doing really well. And then these are my purple Coven tomatillos. The one to the left, I lost those, so I just got to keep the soil going. The olive tree is doing well, but she's not going to produce any more fruit. It's just too hot. The dragon fruit, I just need to tie up, but she is doing really well. The apple trees, I've already checked them, and either they are dormant or dead. We'll find out next year. The ground cherries, one is struggling, but they are surviving, which is right here. And the other two, I believe I had lost. So I planted a Siamese bitter melon right there from the hydroponics, and we'll see how she does. The 2 zucchini that are trying to make it are right here. They are trying to push it, and I'm trying to give them as much help as possible. I do fertilize once a week, and I water twice a day. That is the red curry winter squash. This was the herb section. However, the only herbs that have made it so far is the catnip, oregano, and holy basil. The other herbs didn't make it, but I am keeping the soil moist and fertilized because I want to keep that for next year. The sweet peppers are doing, I guess, okay. They're not giving me any fruit. Right now they're just trying to survive the heat, so we'll see what we can do to get them through. The hot peppers really didn't make it. They are really struggling. I only have a few hot peppers left, as you can see. The chamomile is going dormant and about to go into hibernation. I didn't get any strawberries, which kind of sucks. All of my honeyberries, raspberries, and blueberries didn't give me any fruit, and I'm not sure if it's because last year it was so hot that they didn't make it, or if they're still just dormant because of it, but we'll find out next year by that. My beans and my radishes are struggling. My edamame is gone. I did get a surprise. My garbanzo bean did actually germinate and actually come up out of the ground. We'll see if she can make it through the summer. I'm not quite sure. My asparagus bed looks, again, okay. There's only a few asparagus that looks like it's made it. I don't know if the other ones will make it. We'll find out next year. The grapevine might be dead. We'll see that. This is my corn bed. The corn bed, the only thing I have surviving on this is one okra plant. The rest of the corn have just disappeared. The grass makes it. All of the sunflowers, they didn't make it, but my 2 okra plants did, so that's a plus. So now we're going to make chicken cordon bleu because there was a lot of stuff in here I didn't like. So what I do is I take 1 chicken breast, that's all I need for my husband and I slice it lengthwise, but not all the way through, just so it will actually fillet open. And I put it on saran wrap, and then I use a rolling pin and tap it to flatten it out a little bit more. And then I'll roll it to make sure that it's even and there's no higher area so that it actually cooks all the way through. And once that's done, I will season it with salt and pepper on one side. And then I will actually add my cheese and my ham. Ideally, you want to use Swiss cheese, but we don't have any, so I'm using American. And then I put salt on it. I grab my toothpicks. I typically use about 4 toothpicks per chicken breast. And then I'm going to fold it in half and use my toothpicks to hold it. Then I'm going to go ahead and get an egg and make an egg wash. Grab some flour in a cup, because what I found easier is if I sift the flour and sprinkle it on the chicken and then use the egg wash and then sprinkle more flour on the chicken. This actually helps prevent me from having to do more dishes, and it keeps control of how much flour I'm really using, so I'm not wasting so many products. Then I turn it over and repeat the same process, and once that's done, I actually got Fritos for my breading, and that's what I'm using. I ground up some Fritos, and while I was actually making all of this, I've actually preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And now I'm going to go ahead and get a baking dish and grease it, and then I'm going to put that in, cook it for about 30 to 40 minutes, or until my internal temperature is about 165. Now I'm making my hollandaise sauce, so I need 3 egg yolk, and while I'm making my egg yolk, I'm already melting a half cup of butter in the microwave. And now I'm going to temper my eggs with my butter, so I slowly pour in my butter into my eggs while I'm stirring it to temper the eggs so they won't cook. I will actually put all of that in there slowly but surely, just mixing. And once I've actually mixed all of my butter with my eggs, I will put salt in there, and then of course any other seasonings that you want. I just do salt and Cholula sauce. Alright, so now that I have my chicken, don't forget to pull out your toothpicks. You don't want someone to bite into that and a toothpick kind of get into their teeth. That is very painful. So you go ahead and put the hollandaise sauce on top of that, and I served it with frozen cooked peas and mashed potatoes. That was very delicious. We completely enjoyed it. It was also very healthy and very satisfying to help me realize, okay, yeah, it was not such a great day in the garden, but I still have some vegetables that I can look at. I still have some things that are coming. So we'll see where this goes. I'll probably, if I can actually get it through July and August, I might get some fruit in October. If not, no big deal. I'm still learning, and I'm taking you along with me. Until next time, I'll see you later. I hope you have a blessed week. Bye.